RVJ took over. Yeah.
Right, let's hit the live.
Yeah, the only other match I know of from the weekend that was pretty interesting was Corey Miller went through John Theron like butter.
Was that a super match?
No, that was at the beginning of the tournament, so 5-6 hours after John's super match. So, I mean, to be fair, John wasn't 100% fresh, but.
All right, looks like we coming up here now.
Let's see if we are in fact live. Let's have a look. That's weird. Have you got it? Because it's not showing that we've gone like, oh yeah, well, here we go. Here we go. I've got the spinning wheel. For a minute, then I thought we were screwed again. Let's just move that. Put this on charge as well so we don't lose it. Oh, baby. How's everybody doing? Anyway.
Can't complain.
There you go.
Good.
Let's see. Let's have a look. I believe we are live in this mother fluffing house. Let's have a look who we got in. Ivan Kozlik has come flying in. At Paul Lynn. Hello, hello, White Oak. Have some of that.
I think I already said hello back in the chat.
There you go, mate. Marco GT5. Queenslander. We got Mark Jenkins in the house. Michael, we got. Who else have we got in here? Engin Terrat is in there. We got Adnan in there. Adnan's in there. Too Smooth's in there. Marco GT5. Victory. Mark Orel. Always late. You know it, mother fluffer. Stay gold pony boy. Yeah, we got a few people trickling in. We'll let them build. Let them build a little bit, and I'll just give you a bit of an intro, guys. For those who don't know, we've got the OG Fix crew in the mother fluffing house tonight, and we're joined, just to keep a level head, we're joined by one of the coolest mother fluffers in the game. He's from the United States of America, and his name is Luke Pulcher. And if you don't know this guy, what the fuck are you thinking? You will have seen him. He has refereed some of the biggest matches of all time. What is the biggest match you've ever ref, Luke? What do you reckon is the biggest? What's the biggest match? The most?
Oh, it would probably have to be. It would probably have to be Devon versus Hermes.
Yeah, it's a pretty big match, mate.
As far as most watched.
Yeah, pretty big match. Luke is also great for if you want anybody to talk you through just how far you have to be away to shoot some dude with it. And he'll even tell you the rifle that you need to do it with. Dude knows about his guns. Oh, yeah. In fact, there's a stag that he shot this morning right behind him on the wall. Right? Look at that. You know, you've multiple stags in there, mate. Is that the hunting room that you sat in?
It's just a living room, just a general room.
Ray's got a bit like that, but nothing in there's hunted. It's just a shit ton of cats. He calls it the pussy room. Isn't that right, Rolly?
I said that in confidence.
Yeah,
okay?
I know, but sorry. I felt, you know,
Neil does everything for attention.
That's it, you know. That's it. I even keep the heating on in here just in case I have to. We'll leave it. Mean Machine Arm Wrestling's in here. Flown Monk's in here. What's up, fellas? What's up, Flown Monk? Hope you're well, mate. Jim Carpenter is in here, and Trevor Chisholm is in it. What has he said there? Sergeant Sank, how you doing? Peter Anker. All right, mate. That's a great name. I love Peter Anker. That is maybe the best name in the chat. Alexander Silva. Can't wait to see Levan demolishing Devon once again. This will be so cool. Hey, it's warming up. So, guys, what's new in the world of arm wrestling? What's excited you this week?
Well, we had the Arm Gods event. Winter Blast in PA had, I think, record numbers entries, like almost 600. Some
600 entries.
Insane.
I think it was like 585.
God damn.
Insane.
Yep.
That is a big shit. Where's that? Where's it held that?
That's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Yep. They killed it.
Is that the event you were talking about, Luke?
Yeah.
John,
between the super matches and the regular event, I guess it took 11 and a half hours to run the event.
That's you know what though, I feel like with the, because I've been there with like 500 entries, it's very hard to do better than that. You can't do much better than 11 hours.
Oh yeah.
What is the biggest event at the moment in the US? What do you see? What's the biggest show?
Michigan State's is always big like that.
one.
They're always over 500. We have the Keystone State Championship in June. That'll be second weekend of June. We've done into the mid fives in that one. What's out west, Luke? I think there's some big ones out there too.
Yeah, but nothing that gets even close to any of those. Arizona State's a big one that's coming up in June. Tim Talmadge. That gets a little bit bigger every year, but I don't know how many really number of entries. It's just a big event. Latvians usually come over for it. You know, that helps a little maybe.
Yeah, the Arizona State's always big, isn't it? That's a big.
It is. Yeah, it's a good event.
Big show.
Yeah, Tim does a good job of getting good matches and good pullers at the event. I think for all
yes, he does.
To travel.
Well, and this year they're doing the 220 round robin at that event as well.
Oh yeah.
Who's in the 220 round robin?
Like everybody who can make 220. Pretty much everybody.
Pretty much.
What's Robbie Russell at right now?
I want to say he's more of a 205 guy, but I believe he's in. I think he's in it.
Yeah, because Robbie Russell's strong as shit. Very, very strong. Some interesting matchups in there. In Latvia, big tournament in Latvia, 9 people. It's just that all those 9 people
can beat everybody over here.
Are world champion. All 9 of them in all the classes. Friggin' not many, but holy absolute serial killers rocking up.
It's actually true story. We're thinking because we will have nationals in 2 weeks. We're thinking like 85 kilo class or 80 kilo class. What could be there? It could be me, Vlad, Yanis, Kaspars, Maras Toms, Raimon Santonovic. Right? So it could be just
reasonably
5 guys.
Field right there.
Just yeah. A little bit.
So let's just have a quick talk through it. I haven't even introduced the show, for sake.
No.
Talk about lack of professionalism. Sorry about this, Luke. I know you like to keep high standards, as does Paul and Ray. I've been a busy man this weekend. I had a lot of events on. So just because of that, I'm a little bit out of touch with what's been going on because I literally haven't stopped. Got back here, started the show tonight, and lost all sense of professionalism. So I'll go for it now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fix. Show 184. 184. 184 shows, guys. And we've still got the original, the OG. Obviously, Ryan is not here. But other than that, I
want to ask, like, just move your head a little bit to the right.
What? Just
yeah. Who is? Are those your abs?
That's Devon, mate. That's Devon. This is specifically made artwork. Look at that. You see?
Yeah.
There's Levan eyeing him up. It's all artistic, Ray. That.
Yeah.
I'll get one done.
Did you make it? Did you make it?
I didn't actually. No.
You didn't.
No, it's not fan art, I suppose. But I get people, for all the people that do send over the fan art and stuff. I've got to say, guys, some of you are stupidly talented.
Yeah, they are.
They're really like ridiculously talented people.
I got some amazing edits over the years. It's crazy.
Amazing stuff.
That is true.
There is some really talented dudes out there, and we get various people that do send in shots that we use on the fix that we use all over the place. And thank you very much for doing that, guys. Those of you out there that do. I've had some awesome ones. I might use one of the. I've had some absolute crackers. But some like portrait type ones from less talented artists as well. Which
yeah, I've gone too. I try to post them anyway. I always try and post them on Instagram or Facebook.
Some of them. One particular one, it literally makes me cry every time I think about it. It's awesome, and I will send it you after the show. It's really good. It's like it's a picture, fan art picture of me, but if I'd done like 2 years of HGH, like my nose has grown massively. My ears have grown massive. It's really good. It's a quality shot. So thanks for the guy who did that. I will look up your name and credit you with that shot. It's an absolute cracker. So that's my favourite one that I've ever been sent. I've printed it out. I've got it on my fridge. Genuinely, that's not a word of a lie. I really do. But anyway, let's become serious again and get back on point. So who thought that Ron Bath was going to win? Oh, you're on mute there, Rolly.
I was thinking it would be 50-50. I thought there was slight bigger chance for Ron to win than Ryan.
But I was along the same lines, mate. I actually thought that was going to be an unbelievably hard match.
Yeah, it was, but for different reasons, right? It was for different.
I thought Ron was pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
After the first round, I don't think there was any chance.
Ryan had like good success by taking the hand, but he couldn't keep it. Right? He took the hand, but he couldn't keep it, and then he got sucked in, and then went full 100% king's move. Like
I looked at it stylistically. I thought it was a tough one for Ryan. Not being able to gauge where his hook's at right now. Ron has a very uncomfortable hand, and his containment, his ability to contain even outside of the strap, which is usually to me the best gauge. Those bottom two containment are just different, and he has the ability to grab you whole hand and low hand and just turn your pronator or just neutral. So I thought it was going to be a challenge. It's always hard to know where Ryan's at because I know he's gaining, but it's so hard to gauge. I just feel like Ryan would have had to commit to maybe like negative side, losing position, drawing into a tuck type position. That I don't know. I didn't see the match, so I can't comment on how it went. I don't know if he attempted that or not, but it sounds like he went full open top roll. I think I would like to see, if Ryan could turn, where is that hook strength? Where is that drag?
To be fair to Ryan, he did try that.
He did? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Ryan, listen, Ryan's a good arm wrestler.
Oh, I know he is.
Great. Neil, did you watch a legal stream of arm?
No, I remember.
Why?
I understand why. Why would I support the guys there that? Listen, I don't know Marcus, so this is not. Paul spends his entire life trying to destroy my reputation by talking total nonsense about me. So you get that. But listen, I support arm wrestling. I like a lot of the guys there. This is not I've got no personal issue with arm wrestling. I don't know anything about arm gods who can do what they want to do. Every credit to them. Some of the guys that pull in arm gods are some of my closest friends in the game. Tom Holland, one of my favorite arm wrestlers there, our referee.
Big win for Tom. Big win. Oleg to the run.
Yeah. And a comfortable win. And Oleg's
Oleg's very strong, especially on the inside. But Tom is so hard to deal with when you haven't experienced someone as long hooking like that. Yeah, I still
very solid. You still got the best match I've ever seen with Tom, though. That was the match. If anybody who's not seen the match with Ray and Tom, good Lord, go check that out, because let me tell you, that was absolutely unbelievable stuff. What a match that was. One of my favorite matches of all time. But yeah, to be fair to Ryan, through the kitchen sink in there, he was in desperation mode early, Paul. But he tried everything he could. And I actually thought Ryan conducted himself extremely well throughout the weekend, from what I could see. I thought he did a great job. And it's nice to see Ron getting a win. Ron, anybody who knows Ron Bath, you can't not love the guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ron's
how old is he now? 60?
I want to say
60. 2083, I think. Something like that.
What have you got, Luke? 61?
Yeah, I think he's 61.
Yeah. And he looked.
I thought Ryan actually did better than I expected him to.
Did you?
Just for two main reasons. One, people really forget just how big Ron is physically until you're around him again. I mean,
structurally big.
Long levers.
He's structurally big.
Yes, he's a big man. And when Ron is motivated, Ron is really dangerous. And I knew Ron was motivated for this match.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Ryan has never been someone that takes a loss badly, in my opinion. I think he always takes it very well. He takes it in the right way. I thought he pulled very, very well for what he could do. Ron, I know Ron's obviously not Ron, and I'm not saying that to discredit Ryan or to discredit Ron. I just know I've known Ron for coming up to 40 years, and the guy when I was like 13 years old, going over to watch arm wrestling matches, that dude was arm wrestling and winning then. Let me tell you, the old Anthony Celeste tournaments, just outside, and the power lock start stuff, you know. When I was a baby, I was going over there with my dad, and Ron Bath was winning then, back in the 80s. So Ron's been there forever. He's always been an absolute rock. He's the original cloth of arm wrestling. He's absolutely solid. And I've seen the guy do some incredible things. I think arguably one of my favorite matches of all time is Ron Bath Yoshi Kanai. And that said everything you need to know about Ron Bath right there in that match. He's been in some incredible wars. He's very versatile. And as Luke said, he's a big, solid dude. And nice to see him do what he's doing at the age he's doing it at. And it'll be good if he can get on a bit of a solid run, you know.
Yeah, I've always credited Ryan for his approach. You know, I don't recommend it to everybody, you know. But you know, he does the whole, you know, seek out your losses type thing. You know, don't be afraid of them, learn from them. So he's almost always punching above his weight, you know. So not literally, but like he's seeking out, like he will gladly take 6 losses to get 1 good win. And to me, that's why he will continue to grow credibility. I think it's, you know, it's one of those things when you look at like competition in general. Like if you're not challenging yourself, then why even do it? You know, if you are the guy that wants an easy win, you know, all the time, then that's going to hold you back. So I mean, I think, you know, Ryan has really exemplified that. Sometimes it's over the top a little bit, and I've chuckled about it at times. But I think overall, man, I mean, you can't. And because of that, he's become an extremely technical arm wrestler. And it's forced him to get stronger.
Yeah, he can really pull. And he as I say, yesterday, he was in desperation mode really early. I thought he pulled very, very bravely, did everything he could, wasn't for giving it up. Second round, he changed it up, went inside. Very difficult to do anything with Ron in there, and he came up short again. He's not a structurally big man. You've got to remember, Ryan's a guy who started when he first came over, when we first gave him his opener in Arm Wars, he was pulling at sort of 75, 80 kilos, you know. Ron Bath was like 90 kilos when he was born. You know, Ron's a big dude. Ron's got a leg that weighs 83 kilos, and he doesn't put a shoe on the mother. You know what I'm saying? And so Ron Bath is just built different. And he's very, very strong in a lot of areas. And he's one of those guys that not necessarily the prettiest looking technician when it comes to the top roll techniques, but yet he's effective. And he's very, very hard to stretch out, and he's very, very committed.
Yeah,
you know, very, very committed.
Because of that hand, if you never grab it, you'll know what I mean. It feels like, you know, you got to have like a world-class top roll at that size and weight to be able to contest him outside. He's turning most people, or he's getting a good cup against most people. And then his style of pulling such an intermediate style that makes it tricky. You know, he's not going to a clear bone locked hook, you know, but there's that cup with pronation, drag inside all at once. So yeah, he's a tricky dude. And
for me,
and like you said, he's huge. He's huge. He's a big boned human being. Like you look at like big men, just big muscular men who have joints and stuff, you know, narrow waist or whatever. Ron is just a big, large human being.
He is. And Ron's also been taking matches recently. Ron's also been taking matches recently against some very, very difficult guys to deal with. I mean, Matt Mask being the key example of that. Matt is so explosive and such a big dude. He's so very, very difficult to deal with. because just to get hold of him, and particularly when Ron is in the sort of latter years of his career, as you get older, you slow down. I mean, even guys like Craig Sanders, who were, or Andrei Ciprianov is another name you could mention, who was, you know, at his peak, literally like in a bottle, just stupidly quick. But you look at them now, and they don't have that pace, the pace that they used to have. And nobody can sort of outrun the age, you know. And so when you get a little bit older like that, even John, I mean, you look at a young John, the fluidity of the transitions from John were unbelievable. You know, just phenomenal speed of transition. And yet you look at John now, and all the knowledge is there, but the transition speed is not there anymore, and it can't be expected to be. But it's really nice to see Ron getting a good result. So good for you, Ron Bath. I really enjoyed it. Before we move on, some of the stuff that I mean, for me, the match of the night at Arm Gods, without question, was Connor Sale, Matt Smith.
Yeah. That was insane match. Great match.
That was a great match.
Yeah.
You know, that was by far my favorite match there. So tremendous job, Connor. Tremendous job, Matt. Love Matt Smith. Matt Smith, everything Matt Smith stands for. Yeah, big fan of him. Back in the day when
Matt is the guy, who is the Canadian guy?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Matt, I pulled him in 2018. Wow, he was in my category.
Okay. Yeah. He's a good dude. Very rugged guy, but probably man's man. And everything he stands for, I love the fact, you know, the no steroids thing, everything the guy stands for, I think is great. I think he pulled really, really well. He dug in, he showed his versatility. A lot of things in there which were a lot of things to like about that arm wrestling match. It was real.
I watched. Did you guys watch the last video, Ray and Yanis?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Which bit?
I mean, if you watch, you know what this is about.
New versus old.
Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong video. No, I did not watch that. When was that put out?
He put like 1 hour ago, maybe.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry, mate. I have not seen that. But let's go. Tell me.
Funny story. Me and Engin, we talk on the phone, and we talk on the same subject that I said, you will not believe this. Me and Yanis, we just filmed the video yesterday.
Yeah, do you know where the subject started? It started that we saw a video, Abdullah Eldaro. Abdullah Eldaro is training with Artem Taino. And Abdullah Eldaro was like better. It's training, but Abdullah is probably 50 years old at least.
Yeah.
And he was doing that, and then we know that Taino is the current AMC champion in 95, and Abdullah is like 92 kilo maximum. And then we were just saying, like, you know, this guy has been away for like at least, I don't know, last time I saw him was 2012 Brazil WAP World, you know, 12 years ago, and now the guy is doing that. And I'm like, you know, whoever is saying that, you know, in the past athletes were weak, today is there, everyone is Superman. Maybe like some like Levan, I understand that one, you understand? And but other than that, I just made a top, like all the best guys in each category list by myself. Maybe Samusha in 85, but other than that, I don't see anyone from this generation that could make that list except maybe Levan. Like, I don't think anyone could beat Devon, or like Devon. We cannot say that today's generation guy. And John, like, I don't think anybody could beat 220 John.
No.
And I don't think anybody could beat Devon or today. Just say if he's 242, and just say 80 kilo. I mean, who's gonna beat Rustam Babayev today? That Rustam, they're from 10 years domination. Or just think about 165. I mean, I have huge respect for Mindaugas, but the Arsen Liliev will just say 2008 Canada WAP, or just say Gashevsky, just say Cobra, or just say 99 WAP from Vladikavkaz. Yeah, I mean, 70 kilo Hajim Razdolev. You think about Jambul Vibliani. I don't know if you remember or not, but 55 kilo, there was Gökhan Çalışırıcı from Italy, Vapors, 55 kilo. Ooh, I like he would he would probably beat in 55 kilo category today. Probably he would beat from best one to the last one, you know, all category one after another, you know. Of course, today some guys that can be, you know, there, but anyone who's saying that today's best would beat the past best, no.
So let's get into this a little bit and have some fun, right? I just got a super chat in from Noah Salazar, which is a fucking awesome name. Noah Salazar, what a great name. Do you think Ron having like 10 kilos on Ryan made a big difference? I didn't know that was the weight difference, mate, but yes, I'm sure. I think Luke hit it on the head earlier. Yeah, actually, it's not necessarily just the weight. I think it's the structure. I mean, if you look at a guy like Ray, whilst we're on this call, if you meet Ray, Ray may not be the biggest man in the world, but what Ray is extremely structurally powerful. If you meet Ray, Ray's got big, thick wrists, big elbows, great big, thick hands, just big structure. Another guy would be Mindaugas Terasaitis. If you meet him for the weight class, he's very, very big framed lad. Very big frame. Some guys are just gifted with that, you know. John Walker, you remember Johnny Walker? Guy was just stupidly built, really, really put together. Unbelievable.
Was the weight gap really 10 kilograms?
I don't know. I really
was
don't.
under the impression Ryan was up into like the 240s now. And
yeah, Ryan's a big dude now.
I can't imagine Ron being bigger than 245, 250, maybe 5 kilograms.
Really don't know. I couldn't comment with any kind of, I didn't see the weigh-ins or anything like that. I really don't know, but Ron's a bigger man. He's a bit structurally bigger man for sure, you know.
So Neil, so just two things I'm curious about you to tell me. Like about the rest of the list, I'm very confident. Who are the best 85 and 90 kilo in the history? 90 kilo.
Let me tell you. Let's start with this, right? Let's start with this. Let's go with some dream matchups in that weight class, right? So we're gonna go 80 to 90 kilo.
Can I ask you something? Like, not say something to you. Yesterday, Krasimir was my guest, and Krasimir in 2000, I think he said 14. He said he went to Russia. I think either A1 it was, like, to win the overalls. You know, of course, it's a big dream, but it means that he was in incredible shape. You remember those years? He was incredible. He even beat Levan in 2016. You know. And he said he was in incredible shape. He went to Russia and he met someone who almost beat him. He said that, like, he took all of his energy. Do you know who he was? He was
Gennady
55. No, Gennady died long ago.
Mate,
he was 55 years old, Anatoly Skodatev.
Yeah, because
55. Listen, do you hear me? 55 years old man. 55 years old man. This guy is great from 90s. He came 55 years old, almost beat Krasimir in his prime, you know. He said that he took him to the pad, like almost beat him. Imagine that this guy when he was 35 years old, you know.
Yeah. I don't need to imagine him. I was there. Anatoly Skodatev was a friggin' monster. Absolutely.
Have you ever seen the video between him and Jan Germanos in 99? Vladi Kafkas?
Yes. Yeah.
Long, tough match, you know. So 90 kilo, who is 90 kilo the best? If I wanted to say Sasha, Hajimurad Zolev beat him in 90 kilo. And I don't think Hajimurad Zolev, yes, he's incredible. But in 90 kilo, I don't know.
Let's go around. Paul, who do you think? Who's your top?
Paul is probably not that old enough to in the sport to.
Yeah, I don't have the firsthand experience other than just watching videos and listening to, you know, you guys who have tenure. When you go back, you know, beyond 10 years, I'm a little unclear as to who was pulling at 90. I mean, are we not? I mean, John pulled 90 for many years, so I guess we're saying he's 220. You know, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, the first name that jumps in my mind is Haji Zoloev, but beyond that, I don't have the experience to be able to say who was contesting with him years ago.
Historically, Hajimurad Zolev was more a lighter weight than that. He was 75.
Yeah.
Right.
historically. You know, he he was very, 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 very strong.
That's where it gets tricky too. Like, where do you place some of these guys? Most guys kind of travel up the weight class.
Yeah.
Like,
don't get me wrong.
Best point, you know.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, because I'm not putting John in multiple categories. 90 kilo John is also the best John. You know.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. There is nobody could touch him.
That's why he's the GOAT. Let's be honest. That's why his ability to transition through classes.
Yeah.
Just incidentally, guys, just seen a note there. Peter Anker. Neil, can you please say hello to everyone from me, especially Engin, because he read out my message to Krasimir the other day. Peter Anker saying hello there, guys. Thanks, Pete. Hope you're well, mate. What about you, Luke? All-time favorite 90-kilo pullers? Who you got?
Yeah, I'm kind of like Paul there. The overseas guys, the monsters over there. I don't know enough of them. Over here, over the years, I mean, obviously, again, John, but in the U.S., some of the best 90-kilo guys and that kind of hold that aura around them would be Kevin Bongard.
Yes.
Look, how long have you been in arm wrestling?
I've been arm wrestling now 25 years, but I really didn't get introduced to the rest of the world until probably 15 years ago with any real experience. So Kevin Bongard, back in the day, I mean, they called him Rebar for a reason. He didn't look like he belonged in the class, but he just tore people up over at the Golden Bear and everything. So he would probably be the one that would come to my mind as one of the all-time greats at that class from over here.
Yeah. The Cowboy's awesome. Great puller. Great puller. I mean, Johnny Walker is the guy that jumps out to me in that lane, because just growing up watching Johnny pull through the 80s into the early 90s, John Walker was and Johnny Walker at the start of the 90s was an old man. I mean, you know, it wasn't his peak time. It's an old man then. But you watched through the 90s, through the 80s. Oof, God.
So Neil, if we're saying like prime Johnny Walker, like prime, maybe that's even earlier. We don't even know for sure. How do you think of prime Johnny Walker deals with somebody like Sasha or Haji?
Oh, I think Johnny Walker at his peak could do a lot with anyone, mate. I think I don't subscribe to the you know, he'd just come and run him over. I think that all these guys deserve massive respect and are right there. But by the same token, I don't think for 1 minute that you can say that the guys that are there now would run him over either. I really don't.
Neil, then give us names. Give us names, my friend. Who is that? Germanos?
Germanos would not beat John Walker.
What?
I don't think Jan Germanos would beat Johnny Walker, in my opinion.
In my opinion, he probably would. He was incredibly strong.
I don't see it, mate.
I don't see Johnny Walker doing something like someone like Joaquin Taras or something. I think he would get top rolled. You know, I know that at that time, incredible. But I believe that I'm type of guy that believes that the competition makes things tougher. Like more you compete, I'm 100% sure that Paul is better than what he was 2 years ago. After all that experience that he had in the last 2 years, that is what I believe. Like that is why the guys from the East now pass the Western guys in general, because every year they compete. Luke also knows that at WAF for many years they compete. Georgians, Russians, Kazakhs, Bulgarians, Turks, Latvians, you know, they really make each other better and better and better, you know.
Yeah.
While many of the American pullers, they have been isolated and they are pulling against each other. It's good, but I think that they had to pull with the rest of the world so that they could win. Because in the past, just say 30 years ago, like American national championships was like all championships, just say 35 years ago. You know, many of them didn't even come to the WAF. Even the other guys came and they were winning, you know. You know the categories, those Fred Decker, you know, Bert Whitfield, you know, and Jerry Jennings, Dave Hicks, you know, all those guys in Cobra. But I didn't even know who Dave Patton was, because we knew Cobra, but I didn't know that Dave Patton had a like big winning record against Cobra, because Dave Patton wasn't really coming to the World Championship. I didn't even know who John Bursing was until I moved to US, because there was no internet, nothing. we were just going WAF. The only guys we knew is Zaur, and then we had Sharon Remes, we have Cobra Rose, you know, those were the heroes. But those were heroes at the WAF. In US, there were some other people, you know.
I think
another guy when he
what's that?
I was going to say another guy when he pulled the 90 kilo class, and I got to watch him compete at WAF a couple of times. That he still impresses me. But back there, before top 8, when he decided to grow, was Prudnik. I mean,
Yeah,
Prudnik.
but Prudnik usually lost to Sasha.
Yeah.
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 And Prudnik also lost to Zoller. But the only thing is that in 2015, Prudnik got injured when he was pulling against Spartak Zoller. He was going like this, and then he had a tough match, and he got injured shoulder, and then it really made him slow down, you know, like for a few years. Yeah, but you are right. Prudnik is incredible.
Ray, can't be this quiet, mate. 90 kilo, all-time greats. Throw me some names. Your top guys.
I can't.
No, come on, chuck some out there.
No, because I don't have enough information to talk on the subject, so I can't.
Amazing. I even because I know you know your arm wrestling, mate.
I would, because like now, if I look at it, I would say Sasha. I would say Sasha is just from continuous.
Because of the from the modern era.
Of course, I saw him lose a couple of times, right? But also saw him win impressive times. Yeah. So he's probably the most dominant guy there. But you know, you have to go back. You have to go back, and there was different monsters every time. So
yeah, for me, one of my all-time, if I could sort of, you know, pick an all-time matchup, I would love to see David Samusha, Gennady Fadzinov.
Oh, it would be 20 minutes.
Yeah. Mate, can you imagine that match? For real. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't think either of them would give up. Probably they would just, referee would sleep and come back or something, you know. I think it would be a very long match.
Just for anybody who doesn't know, I've mentioned Gennady Fadzinov many times on the show. And I can tell you this. You watch that guy arm wrestling through his career, the amount of times that he lost, and bearing in mind this is talking about main draw competition, the amount of times that man ever lost in a hook, you could literally count on one hand, on a couple of fingers. The man was unbelievably strong, and his endurance was truly otherworldly.
But he didn't stay so long. He pulled. We saw him like 3 years or something, and he was gone.
And you know,
first time
you talk about guys who belie their power, who just do not look that strong. I mean, Paul, if you look at you with no shirt on, you look like you've been carved out of friggin' marble. You looked at Gennady Fadzinov. The man looked like he was a darts player, snooker player. He didn't look in any way physically intimidating or impressive at all. Just his forearm was the same length at the wrist to the elbow. Just ridiculous. But his
hand was big and heavy.
Yes.
And you know, even if he pulls like 2 minutes, he would just do like this, and he would push his elbow again. You know, like the foul. Something happened while I remember him versus Samarenko in 2001, like 2001 WAF, and then Samarenko was just like dying. He almost passed, you know, and the guy was just like, he just turned his back and then come back to table. He did like this and put his elbow again, like nothing happened. If I would put 2 minutes, it would take so long time to come back table. Incredible. So what do you think about 85 kilo?
Mate, again,
so is Samusha one of them? Did he prove already?
Yeah, I think David Samusha's incredible. I think he's incredible.
But just think about 85 kilo Arsendiliyev.
Any time, and he's going to be an absolute weapon. You know, anytime you want, throw him into any era, at any time. And I think with a lot of these guys, throw them in any era at any time, major problem. Let's take Giannis Amelins, right? If you put Giannis any era at any time, 75 kilo, he's going to beat a lot of dudes.
Of course.
He's very, very consummate arm wrestler. Very good arm wrestler.
But mine is Arsendiliyev, minus 2008 Arsen Liliev or 2007 Zloty, the 78 kilo, at the Zloty tour, you know, or this following year 2008 when he beat or Lubomir Yagneshak. I think Yanis was fourth in that category or third, probably. I don't remember. But that Arsen Liliev, I don't know who can beat him. Maybe he versus Cobra, or I don't know. Because I saw 18 years old Arsen Liliev almost beat Gashevsky. And then he pulled the juniors, and then he pulled the seniors. You know, in the juniors, he pulled Ruslan Babayev, and then in the seniors, he toppled Gashevsky, but I think lost on fouls, you know, with elbow foul. But he had the control, but he couldn't finish him. So
when you
I
talk
think
about Svetan, for me, I'm biased as hell because that's one of my favorite arm wrestlers of all time.
Yeah. Yeah. In my opinion, 2008 Arsen Liliev, I don't see. Maybe 99 Cobra, maybe. Like an honest question, like no disrespect. Like, do you see Mindaugas beating 99 Cobra?
No.
Just tell me honestly. No way.
No.
There's no way. No way. Not even Arsen Liliev either. Arsen Liliev, his hand, wrist. He and John pulled at the side table. I ref them in 2007 Zloty after the event. John was kind of.
I was there.
Yeah.
He's standing there watching it. Yeah. With Bob Brown.
Yeah. Bob Brown was there too. So just to say that, I mean, like today's best ones are better than what's happened. Like we are not talking about 300 years ago. It's only like 10, 15 years ago.
But just before you came on, funnily enough, Engin, we were saying Winter Blast. So this weekend had 600 entries. And we were talking about Latvia, the opposite end of the scale, where you haven't got as many guys, but everyone there is a killer, right? I do believe that now the depth of killers is like it's never been. I think the depth of arm wrestlers is like it's never been. I think there are so many more, and we're into the, now it is the
just Turkish nationals. We had 1,723 entries.
And how many at the Georgian national?
I don't know. But I don't think that there is. I have never seen or heard any event with more than 1,700. You know, and this is not like when you say entry, you're talking about per arm.
No, we're talking about arms. We're talking about arms. So you're talking about competitors. And
I talk about 1,723 competitor. You know, not the arms, because there was many competed junior, master, both of them.
19 tables? 19 tables.
Yeah, 19 tables. Yeah,
19 tables.
Yeah, 19 tables. Yeah.
That's awesome, though, isn't it?
Insane.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, but I mean,
good moment.
My take home on that is we are still so far behind. You know, like we can't even get together a real legitimate nationals. We have, you know, smaller promotions doing bigger numbers. We haven't unified, and it's frustrating because I'm with you, Neil. I feel like the depth and the quality of depth in arm wrestling has to be at an all-time high. I mean, along the lines of like the older pullers versus the newer pullers, how do you perceive the situation? Because obviously sports and training has progressed over the years. It has to. Athletes get bigger and stronger and faster as training, like science behind it, goes. And then as far as technique goes, more gets worked out over time. But do you think, like, where would a John Brzezinski be if he started 5 years ago? You know, like let's say he started in 2018. Would his level be higher in today's day and age than it was back then?
Maybe he wouldn't be as good as today because, like, the guy choose a path only at table, while today is a lot of people are focused on weights.
Right.
I don't think that anyone who is so much focused on the weight, like, it's impossible to have the quality of John Brzezinski. Even you look at John Brzezinski's forearm, you look at Taras's forearm, you look at John Brzezinski's forearm. Both are impressive. I can just look at it and say Taras's forearm is built at least 60% with weights, while John Brzezinski's forearm is just 100% arm wrestling built.
I agree. I think if you want to be good at playing tennis, play tennis. You want to be good at driving a rally car, drive a rally car. You want to be good at arm wrestle. And if you can gain your ability and strength from arm wrestling, you will be better at that. You know, it's just
But he was genetically gifted as well, so much that, you know, he
Like,
could do that. So, yeah, like someone like me couldn't.
That's what I'm getting at.
He
That's
did
what I'm
it.
getting.
Sorry, Paul, go.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, so obviously, like in any sport, like usually the elite have some level of genetic gifts. But when exposed to, you know, advanced training techniques and a higher level of competition, you love the. I tend to think that, you know, if John came up in this era with the amount that people are training, like in the gym, that he may have been able to like achieve a couple percent, you know, more in certain areas, because I feel like that's the sport's progression. You know, like the greats and the gifted, the genetic freaks are always going to be there all the way throughout time, but the level and the exposure brings more.
Well, you know what's interesting about that, Paul? I got my own perception of that, brother, and it's pretty much this. The modern era is great in some respects, but it's also counterproductive for a lot of arm wrestlers because everybody treats themselves like they are John Brzenk.
Yeah.
Everybody treats themselves like they are Hermes Gasparini, and they're not.
We're special. We are.
And
all
you'll never get there if you're not arm wrestling. And yet there's right. I got a match. Okay, I'm not going to arm wrestle now for 2 years, and then I'll come back. It's nonsense. You're not there. You need to arm wrestle more. There's a lot of very, very strong guys who get taken apart because they're not technically complete. They're not technically proficient.
Yep.
And let's say that if I came back to arm wrestling now, and I was a pretty good arm wrestler at my peak, I'd need to spend a lot of time learning to arm wrestle again. Because it's not just it's the muscle memory, it's the movement, it's the finesse, it's like ring rust, you know, and it is a thing. If your fluidity is not there, you will not be as sharp at the table. You can't do it. You got to go out there and you got to learn to arm wrestle and feel the thing. It's got to live within you. You got to feel it, and that's what made the very best arm wrestlers, in my opinion, the best arm wrestlers. Giannis, myself and Rolly were talking about it last week, weren't we, Ray? You know, you said Giannis was everywhere, every tournament, everywhere, week after week after week. He won and he lost, but he was there. And I think that's huge, you know. What's your take on that,
Neil?
I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Go ahead, Greg.
No, go, Luke. Sorry, go.
Okay. When you look at John, and whether John started 5 years ago or started when John started, I mean, John did something pretty unique even way back then. And I don't know to what level for sure, but I know to a level, John picked his career with Delta Airlines so that he could fly for free to go to tournaments. And he did. John went everywhere. John and Cobra were really two of the first U.S. guys to consistently go outside of the U.S.
Yes.
And search that higher talent. And maybe back then it wasn't as much higher as it is now, but in the rest of the world,
it was U.S. was the high level. The other world, we all learned from North America.
Okay. Well, that certainly changed. I mean, the rest of the world definitely caught up and surpassed the U.S. And here, you know, our nationals is a joke. Whichever one you want to go to, there's 3 or 4 you can pick from every year. Because the world level competition is only important to a very small handful of us. If you go around the U.S. and ask every arm wrestler, I'll bet you get 10% of the arm wrestlers in the U.S. that truly have a desire to go and earn a world title, whether it's IFA or WAF. It's a very small number. Part of it is the expense. You know, it's expensive to get overseas, and we don't have sports ministries or anything giving us that money. But even with that, the level in the U.S. has grown exponentially in the last 6 to 8 years. I mean, 6 or 8 years ago, if I didn't know your name, the likelihood that you could beat me on the table was very, very low. Now, I wouldn't say that at all. There's guys that, you know, they're not necessarily out of the woodwork, but they haven't left their little area yet. You don't necessarily hear about them. And because of all the training, because of things like Voice of Arm Wrestling, where you can get, you know, your doctorate in arm wrestling training techniques right there on YouTube, and listen to the things that you and Engin have to say, and all those different things, you can accelerate that so much faster than you used to be able to. Even for the average person that doesn't travel out of their area, they can still accelerate their level far beyond what they were able to, like I said, 6 or 8 years ago.
Well, I think there's reason behind that too. Because in the United States, like Engin's talked about having 1,200 human beings show up to nationals. But in Turkey, how many times can you compete per year, Engin? How many tournaments are offered?
I mean, this level of tournament only once a year.
Well, let's say any level.
I mean, maybe they do some small organization, but not nation level, you know, not really. But those people compete Europeans and worlds, the elite ones. So you can say 3 events.
This is a interesting to me. It's what we have in the United States is the ability to compete pseudo locally in probably 3 out of the 4 regions of the country every weekend within a 5-hour drive. Almost every weekend you can go to a small lower level tournament. And because of that, we've attracted a lot of new arm wrestlers. It's awesome. But we haven't attracted a whole lot of guys who are shooting for the moon. We got guys shooting for the local bar tournament because they have them all the time. So like, whereas when you're in Europe, it's like, okay, you got nationals and then you got worlds, or you got Zloty or AMC. That's what you got. So you are forced in like, hey, if I want to be good at this sport that I'm picking, that my country also loves and supports me and respects me for being good at it, my step is to win a national title and go to worlds. We like, people don't even think about worlds. I think, I don't have a resolution for it, but I wish and I hope while I'm still in my tenure of arm wrestling that we see United States arm wrestling start going back to nationals, qualifying, and actually taking a leap of faith and going over to worlds. Because even if you go 0-2, you get to watch the whole dang thing and grip up with people, you're going to get better.
Yeah. Ray, you had a point you wanted to make also, mate.
Yeah, but it was a little bit different because we talked about like you know, the people looking and thinking that they can just lift weights and they become arm wrestlers suddenly, right? That I see a lot of these like on my feed, on Instagram, everywhere else, like a lot of these fans that they literally think that because they're very close to the numbers that some of the arm wrestlers are lifting, but they don't even arm wrestle. They're suddenly, first of all, experts. Second of all, really good, but they will not compete because they're not ready, right? And it all goes like, it's always the trends of DEVON LARRATT, right? Let's say you went to coma 3 years ago, you wake up and first thing they ask you is like, what is the training that DEVON does? And you say, micro reps, 50 reps here, 50 reps here. And they're like, no, man, you're so way behind. You're so way behind. It's all about these lifts now, right? You do these single arm lifts, and that's how you get better at arm wrestling, right? So however I see this, DEVON makes trends. And every one of you know this because they're always around, right? The local pullers, everyone wants to try these lifts, and that's how they schedule their training and things like that. And then they're not caught up on competing. They're not because they think they will just get better when they're close in the lifts. But arm wrestling is not lifting. If it would be, we wouldn't arm wrestle in between. We would just say, how much did you do on the back pressure? I say 50. Oh my, I just did 47. You clearly win. Here's your medal, but right? It's not. It's nonsense. So get to the table and start arm wrestling, and that's how you become better.
If you look at the guys we talked about here, John was one of them, and Engin made the point about John. I'm going to make the same point about Engin. Engin was everywhere.
Yep.
Pull as much as you can. Pull as many classes as you can. Get like, because that's the best experience, like the best experience you can get, because eventually you get to a level where you cannot pull multiple classes. You go to hard enough tournaments that you know you cannot pull multiple classes because your class is tough enough, right? But when you're just coming up and you can eat those losses and that's extra motivation for you, but just get as much pulling as possible and put your mind in it. Like Engin is one of the best examples how he puts his mind to, he's like, you beat me like this, I'll figure a way to beat you, and goes back, trains, comes back and finds a way to pull the guy and beats him, and the next one and the next one. And this mentality of the winners, I think, in arm wrestling, you know, just get as much as you can. And everyone's talking about losing and, oh, you know, someone lost and suddenly they retire. Like as an arm wrestler, you start like this. This is how much you lose at the start, and closer to the end, you start losing less, right? It's the natural progression, but you still lose from time and time again. It's just normal thing in arm wrestling. And I don't know,
I'm gonna
like
make another one on that same
it's
thing, mate.
either a
Controversial
motivator or
statement incoming.
demotivator. You know, everyone's different. Everyone feels like, you know, but it's normal part of this. No one quits. No one, you know, really quits, right? Your body can tell you to quit, but no arm wrestler ever. Everyone comes back. Everyone comes back.
Do you think there's a bit of going through the motions in it, Ray, as well, in terms of like you see guys now that will go into a match and you see the match and the match was clean as a whistle, right? There was no really serious issues in the match. The guy can win the match pretty solidly, and then he'll say, oh, well, I'm torn up from my last match and I ain't going to pull for another month. And you think to yourself, mate, like, if you're torn up from that, you're not arm wrestling enough. And that is genuinely the situation.
No,
your arm's not seasoned.
You know what I really like? This is the funniest thing ever with arm wrestlers, right? So you go to a tournament, like two scenarios happen. Let's say you go to tournament, you have amazingly hard match, you lose the match, and you're so disappointed. You're pissed for an hour or 2 days, or just like think about it. Bad. You go to a tournament, you run through everyone like a butter. No challenge. You become unchallenged. You go back home and you're like, this sucked. So we're never satisfied, right? Winning is good, losing is bad, but we're never satisfied. And I've seen this so many times, right? You guys really want to win, but as soon as they win, and like if you win hard match, that is a different feeling. That's at least how I feel. But if you win easy match, it gives nothing. Like it was.
No, I don't feel like that. I care about what I want. If I want easier, it means that I am much ahead, dominant, you know, untouchable. You know, that's also good satisfaction.
Always bear in mind at this point that Engin is a nutter.
Engin is what?
A nutter. Engin, go listen. If you need any convincing of that, go and watch Engin, and go and watch Engin's Deep Inside the Minds interview, right? And pay attention to that little bit of gold that is within those series of interviews, where he's telling me and telling you, the viewer, that after the World Championships, one of the few that he didn't win, he was upstairs in his room, considering cutting his own arm off.
Yeah, but you know what, Neil? In today's world, people shares everything on social media, and people becomes a little bit, sorry, but like showing off. Just they even think what to say, what to do. So to, you know, perception. In those years, I mean, I didn't even share with anyone. You know, I told you this like 25 years later, you understand? Like you don't have social media, nothing. Just like you do everything for your own self. You know? I shared this some time ago. I was in US competing all over there as a lightweight, you know. But I never had I joined the party or something. I go compete, win, and go to my room, you know. Maybe if I find you, then we would have some chat, arm wrestling chat, but nothing else. Nothing else, yeah. But what I just said, that do you guys remember? You remember, Neil? There was Pinnacle Arm.
Yes.
The kind of until I saw that, because I was doing everything for myself. I didn't even know what people were saying about me. Nothing, you know. They were saying, "Oh, congratulations" or something, but I didn't care. I won, so I did the plan. I go home, you know. So I saw it on the Pinnacle Arm in Canada, the website. There was a big poll, you know, about who is the pound for pound the best arm wrestler in the world. Whenever I saw the poll results, then I was like, oh, okay, people thinking that I'm good, you know, because it was 56% John Berzink, 32% me, and then Rambet 3%, Greg Tuller just 2% or something. At that moment, then I realized that, okay, people think that I'm good, you know, just because I never cared.
You were perceived as having a bit of a sinister edge to you, Engin.
Yeah.
Because you were so lone wolf. You know, I used to talk with the Wolf, with and with Dorsum, and they say, "Oh yeah, Engin is obsessed," because they would come to the party. You know, Kurt would come to the party. Özgür Kizgin would come. You know, and the rest of the guys, and I'd be like, "Where's Engin?" Ah, he don't come.
Yeah, he's in his room. You know, he won. He's satisfied, happy. He's gonna go back home now.
Yeah, wouldn't mix with do anything. You had almost like a bit of a sinister edge to you back then. And as you've got older, you've mellowed a great deal.
Yeah. But listen, I have so many arm wrestling photos, but I went to all over the world. I don't really have any photo from sightseeing, nice places or something, because on mission. Seriously, I go, I register, I weigh in, I go to supermarket, buy the things, go to the room, and then rest, eat, compete, and go, and then home, you know. So like, because do you know how I was feeling? Like I went to like Malaysia, I went to many countries, but if I would go for sightseeing, I would feel like I betrayed myself because I didn't come here for that. So I should just do only what I came here for. If I do anything else, then I'm not professional. You know? That's just like maybe not normal, maybe not right, but just how I was.
Yeah, it's how you're wired up.
And that's gentlemen, how you become a legend.
Yeah.
Right? You're ready to sacrifice, and that's how it is.
How do you think that, how you guys think, like when we're talking about like the older class arm wrestlers versus the new, the old versus the new? If you look at like Neil, what you talked about, and Ray, what you talked about, like excuses and different things like that, you know, today society is definitely softening, you know, how we approach everything. How
you are right. You are exactly right, Paul. Do you know that word, right? How was it? Strong men, strong people.
Strong men create good times create weak men
creates harder time, and harder times create. Yeah, now we are that circle. Sorry to any guys, but just like from 90s or something, you know. I mean, whenever I look at the young people, even in my country around, I don't see that like we had harder time and we were like more fighters. Now, I did the trainer job for many years. Many guys, they enter from door, they say, okay, how much money I'm gonna make if I win? Just get the fuck out of here. You don't even love this support. You just came here, you're asking this. Are you crazy? You need to love it, you understand? You need to just have it in your blood, you know. You start everything, your foundation is money, you know, just come on. How can you love this, you know?
The world is changing. And I can say it from the sports side and kids, and from coaching for 20 years. I have seen a major shift culturally, period. And today, softness. It is what it is. Comes in the form of making excuses, being a victim, and then how we present ourselves in this social media world. Everything you do gets put on blast. So like especially if you're a young person in today's day and age, it's winding up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever platform you use, YouTube. Your losses are publicized and your victories are publicized just the same. And I see it now with kids. We could lose a game and they're looking for some glory photos to post on Instagram with some catchy little tagline. Like they're presenting their own image, and it makes it tough. And even in arm wrestling, you know, it's funny to me. Like, I lost to Irakli convincingly, and I got so many messages, and love you guys for the messages. Appreciate you asking me, are you okay? And I'm like, am I okay? Are you kidding me? I'm totally fine. I have been here plenty of times before, and now it just makes me hungrier to face that guy again down the road. But thank you for your concern. But I mean, I look at that, and like today's a huge advantage that the old school arm wrestlers have to have had was growing up in an era where excuses and where softness was largely unaccepted.
Yeah.
That had to be a factor into how those matches would come.
Yeah. Neil, there is one guy asked, you know, if this is the mellow Engin.
Oh, mate. What? Yeah. Big, like, unbelievable. Yeah. Very, very, very mellow Engin. Engin back in the day, sinister individual.
Psychopath?
Very
Psychopath, a little bit? Psychopath?
Absolute nut.
Yeah.
Personally, Never had a problem with a dude.
No, we never had with you.
Everywhere ever went, just you'd get the sort of frowning look across he was like, he could be eating an ice cream and he'd be pissed off. He'd look across the bloody hotel lobby at you, you'd be there, you knew what you were there to do, and you'd just catch eyes and and that was it. But yeah, that was it. That's what happened. But we were there to do a job, and that's it. And you get, you see the guys who are there to do that job. So we've got DB Talks. Thank you for your super chat, brother. I just come in with one now. This is for Engin, but we'll throw it to everyone. So, question for Engin: if super matches were best of one, who would be the top 5 super heavyweights? Is the true best puller the one who can win the first time?
No.
Listen, to me, the one who wins 2 times in our practices always was the better one. If you are beating someone twice, but it is from the way of
tournament.
Tournament, but also like even between us, like if I beat you once and if I'm beating you again, so.
But if tournaments would be best of 3, let's say,
it's not about it's not about that. It is not only about that. It is because we thought that if I beat you 2 times, like I am better than you. This is how we felt. Not only about the tournament, but for entertainment, I think it would be too short. Like beating someone twice. I think that 3 is better. Like best of 5 is the better one, but people put so much pressure, so we made it best of 7 right now. But at least for the title matches.
Mm-hmm. So we got another super chat from Karaoke Vic. Good dude, supporter of the channel regularly, and he's put, Neil, please block Peter Anker. What have I missed? He is spamming the chat requesting a match. Sorry, guys.
Neil, I'll read it. Neil, can you please ask Engin, will he set up a match with me and Concrete Elbow?
No.
Perfect. Done.
He asked it 300 times.
Yes.
He's a very good guy. But once he asked, he continued asking. So I put him in the timeout for 5 minutes, 10 minutes in my chat. But he's a good guy, but he just doesn't stop. I tell him to not to. He continues, so I put him 5 minutes.
Mellow Engin puts you in a timeout.
Yeah.
Not their Engin.
Yeah. And Engin from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he banned you, and then he hunted you down and ate your heart.
I will tell you something. Like, the question comes, like I see some very interesting people. I don't want to disrespect on social media. So I was just curious if social media made some people like that, or they always existed, but because of the social media now we realize them. I don't know which one is the answer.
They always existed, except before they'd get hit in the face.
Yes.
Okay.
And with social media, you don't get punched in the face anymore, and more people need to be punched in the face.
Neil, the reason that I'm kind of like dominant personality, like even like many people can't really talk so relaxed around me. You understand? I don't know why the reason, but what I just try to say. So whenever I see these kind of people, I'm like, these people really exist? Like, and I'm like so shocked because I don't think that people could be that off.
In real life, right?
Yeah. In real life, I didn't see this kind of people. But whenever I see this, are they serious? They really think this way, And then I'm like, okay, either social media made them or we got to know them through social media.
It's funny. Most of the people that I meet out and about are good dudes. I mean, more, particularly when you go to the shows, a lot of good dudes out there. And all the guys, I love the fans of the sport. This is what's making the sport grow, in the manner in which it is. It's blowing up, and that's fantastic. And we're lucky that is happening to the sport. Guys coming in, supporting the sport, supporting the shows, coming into the sport as pullers, coming into the sport as fans. Whatever if you love arm wrestling, welcome to the party, guys, and thank you for your time and for tuning in and for the passion and support you show to the game. It's great. We've wanted that in the sport for so many years, and it's fantastic to have you guys there. NWUK1's just come in with a super chat. Thank you, brother. He's put, just saying thanks for yet another great show. Thank you, mate. Thanks for checking it out. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. Mr. Cigar coming with a super chat. 30-year-old Brazink versus Levan, would it be close? It's the size and the weight is the thing. I think what you're looking at there, Mr. Cigar, is size does matter. If you have, or put it another way, a really good big one will beat a really good little one, and there is a point where size becomes a problem. That era is now.
It's not only about size, you know. John has beaten even bigger guys, but
not
is
that
not only
complete.
Yeah, the Levan is not only heavy guy. Levan is really athletic, super heavyweight at 100.
It's in the statement. A good big one will beat a good little one. If the skill is equal, size matters. And I'm not saying that Levan's skill level is equal to John. I don't believe it is. But it's good enough and complete enough to make his size, that advantage of size and power, count.
Well, Neil, that's why Richard Lucas has a winning record on John.
Yes. Yeah. And Richard Lucas is another extraordinary phenom of strength. The guy's at his peak. Truly incredible. I got some amazing stories about Richard Lucas, both personal stories, stories I've heard, stories that he told us. Again, if you go to the channel, guys, anybody who's new to the channel, go and check out the Deep Inside the Minds interview with the phenomenal and the gentleman that is Richard Lucas. What a incredibly fascinating, endearing individual that guy is. Incredible. Just a great, great show. I'm going to bring that series back, incidentally, as well, because it was really good to get the guys on there. So NWUK1's come in with another super chat. He's put, I would like to know who gave Engin his nickname, please. Very apt.
Right there.
I would ask for back in the non-mellow days. Wonder who that could be.
Listen. The guys who are watching us, 90% of the nicknames, international nicknames in this community are given by Neil Pickup. I have 3 nicknames. One is Angry Turk. It is my first nickname ever, Angry Turk, by Neil. I still don't know why he called me that way, but I'm joking.
That was amazing.
The second nickname came by Cobra, Walking Encyclopedia, he called me. And the third nickname is the Enigma of Rage. I will tell you something. I didn't know what Enigma means, and I didn't even bother to check it for like 10 years. And later I was like, okay, what does it mean? And then 10 years later I checked it.
Very misunderstood guy, Engin.
Yes, such a mellow guy.
Very private person, and a lot of guys didn't. You didn't speak to many people, like you say. You weren't a guy that went around and talked to or socialized with many people. I had a lot of really good times chatting through arm wrestling. One of the best. I'm gonna be honest with you, as well as the pulling side of things. Myself and Rolly have talked about this a lot, and all of the guys on this call and some of the guys in the chat would definitely agree with this. When you go to these shows, it's such a fantastic experience. It's the experience is the thing. It's the whole. It's not just the arm wrestling. It's the whole experience. It's the lead up to the competition. It's the after the competition. It's the during. It's those looks across the room when something goes down. You know what I mean? And you just catch your eyes with the guy you've been out having a coffee with earlier that day, and you both look at each other and you're like, holy, it's just gone down. And it's unique. It's sort of your own history. You know what I mean? And that for me is very special. Myself and Luke were sat outside at the last East versus West show. We both attended, and we were just chatting about stuff. And Luke was educating me on things that I didn't know a goddamn thing about. And it's great. It's fascinating. You get the opportunity to learn and to evolve yourself as a person by speaking to people who are more experienced in that environment. And I love that. And it's one of the most valuable things.
It's addictive. You almost can't go back. Like once you get to that level, one of these shows around these people, you meet them face to face, realize they're real people, realize they bleed just like everybody else. And the camaraderie is amazing. And, with this East versus West coming in the United States here in Florida, like guys watching this, if you have the opportunity to drive in, it's a no-brainer. If you have to fly in, it's still a no-brainer.
Orlando is very cheap to fly. I think you told me this.
Yep, you will have an amazing experience.
Tourist destination.
I know Florida is like, kind of kind of waterlocked, but it is totally different. It's like sports. Certain sports are better live, and arm wrestling in a non-tournament setting is better live. And some of the best experiences I had in Turkey were kneeling down in front of the stage and being front row for other people's matches. You know, not my own. I enjoy that way more. If I'm not competing, I still want to be there.
You're so clearly immersed in that, Paul.
Yep, that's why Paul is coming.
You get so immersed in it. You really do.
I love it.
Even when you're arm wrestling, I noticed that you're one of those guys that get put. And Rolly, same situation. You get in the commentary booth with Rolly. Rolly friggin' enjoying the matches.
Yeah.
Like, you might be commentating the matches, but genuinely enjoying the matches. So many times we're friggin' fist bumping and stuff up there because we're actually really enjoying the matches, the atmosphere. And it's sometimes you're quite torn because when you're up in the commentary booth, part of you wants to be down in the melee. It's a weird thing.
Well, human beings, like, you know, you got a fight breakout recess in school in the 3rd grade. What happens? Everybody comes around. Everybody wants to be around the presence of death or the presence of violence. It's what it is. I mean, that's why, to me, the sports that are the most physical and present the most chance of risk to actual bodily injury are the best to watch live. To me, my favorite sports to watch, UFC or boxing live, followed by football, because there's an element of violence there. Arm wrestling is pulled back a little bit from that, but then there's also that man-to-man, head-to-head. You know, nobody's going to get killed, but like the idea of that energy that gets exchanged in a physical altercation is drawing, no matter what.
I agree, mate. 100%.
I got to tell a story on Paul.
Sorry, go, Luke.
So we're at the Monster Factory, and I'm reffing, and Paul is cornering for somebody. I don't remember who he was cornering for.
Justin Bear, my buddy.
All right, but when Paul is in the corner and you're the head ref, you swear that Paul is getting ready to put a hit out on you, because he is making sure that everything that you could possibly do wrong is being pointed out, whether you're doing it wrong or not. And I'm setting a referee's grip, and Paul is telling Justin to move, which will get Justin a foul in a referee's grip at the Monster Factory. And he's relentlessly telling Justin to move. And I said, Justin, look at me. And he looked at me and I said, do not listen to Paul. Okay. And then we went back to the match.
Hey, Justin won the match. He won the match. So I did my job. I'm chasing Jody. For corner.
You're the best.
You're right there. You are right there.
So, Paul, for SM has just come in with a super chat, guys. And he's put, does anyone believe that Levan can sustain his weight and strength long term? 5 to 10 years, maybe. Who wants to take that?
Not healthily. Not with great health.
We will see. Right.
I don't think so. I'm just saying the sheer body weight, like the stress that the actual, kilograms that he's carrying around put on his body and put on his organs is tricky. At some point in time, maybe he can do it. Maybe he can sustain it longer, but I think whenever you weigh too much or, you're pressing that. I like Levan when like, I don't know, what is his current weight right now, Engin?
180.
180. And what is that in pounds? Maybe I can't do that math.
Kilos.
400.
400.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Levan. I would like to see Levan at a lean, like in shape, like 350 or 320, because I think he can be every bit as good.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you're saying, Paul. I think it's difficult for anyone, and we see it through strongman. The guys that'll come in for a show and they're huge. Sustaining that throughout the year is difficult. You're absolute top guys. There's so much around the peaking, and it's become a thing. The preparation, the peaking is critical, and that's the issue. If you to stay that big and to be healthy, it's difficult. very, very difficult for those guys that want to do it that way and push that way. There's great risk involved in it. So also you wonder, the other side of that whole equation also is motivation for me. Could if he goes completely undefeated and washes the division, will he remain as engaged as he is right now? I really don't know.
He made a mistake, that mistake against Hermes. And that is why he is now coming, because he was beating everyone, he was crushing everyone in Hermes match. That is why he didn't like his shape, you know. That's why he was out of oxygen. He didn't do any cardio. Now he's 10 kilo lighter, and he plans to be even 5 more kilo lighter in the last few weeks. So I think that he got an experience about that, and he didn't like the community reaction that people made fun with him about, you know, like Saginashvili on this and that kind of disrespect. So he didn't like that. So that is why he is very determined right now. He already passed that point. But he may go to the same point again, you know, if he becomes same dominant again. But I don't know how his match will be with Devon. People like today, I had Kamil Jablonski and Tobias Sporong. They both predicted Devon to win. Yeah.
We'll see.
Whenever I say 55-45 for Levan or 53-47 for Levan, they are like, oh, you're trying to sell pay-per-view. That's why you say. That's not that. That's what I believe. I was thinking it was 60-40, but now what I know, my opinion, I may be wrong, but it's not only me. Some other people are saying that, you know, like Gennady said. Gennady said if Devon is 10% stronger than when he played against Gennady, he said Devon is gonna win for sure. He said he gives the edge to Levan, but if the match stops, Devon is gonna win. So I don't understand why people are so much underestimating.
I think we're starting to see, and we'll continue to see in this next few weeks, people really start to pick up their, you know, I'm in this camp and start to nail their colours to the mast, which is great. And that shows that the fans are in there. I don't believe the match happened last time. I don't believe we saw the dynamic of the match last time. I just hope that it does this time. I would just hope that we get to see both guys bring their best game and finish a full duration match. And we'll know. Then we will know. Who was the best man on the day?
Who's the lucky man to ref that match?
Yeah, who is the reffing?
You know, even referees themselves don't know who they are gonna ref until the starting point. Probably Luke also has the message of the matches. It is exactly 8 p.m. I send a message to all the referees at once, to the referee group. You know, I don't say it. It is not because I don't trust anyone. I kind of feel it is ethical. And I can say this to the community, you know, so nobody is under any, so nobody knows. Even I don't know. Do you know how I do? How I do? I don't even, I have so much to do. I don't even prepare that. Whenever it's just like 7:45, 7:50, I'm like, oh, I didn't prepare the referees. And I go there and I start writing. I try to do not the same countryman in the matches. I try to do, but you know, other than that, you know, I mean, it's like last minute thing. I don't prepare that. Yeah.
Meanwhile, these poor referees are probably staying up at night worrying about
themselves down. Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't know if it's gonna be me.
So karaoke come back in with
for Devon match.
Yeah.
Oh, Reffin Devon is.
I wouldn't.
You're in your money. Anybody that referees this match, mate, they're you know, they got massive pressure. Can't win if you can't win.
Reffing Devon, the worst part of reffing Devon isn't reffing Devon. Devon isn't that hard to control on the table if you're willing to follow him when you're supposed to. The worst part about reffing Devon is that if Devon wins the match, it's because the referee is a cheater. And if Devon loses the match, it's because the referee is a cheater. That is the worst part about reffing a Devon match.
Because the community is divided to Devon haters and Devon fans.
Yes.
Like if you talk, it's like Muhammad Ali, you know, nobody could ignore him. They either hated him or they loved him. So Devon is the same guy. He is doing some things. he's going so much to the edges. People either like him or really dislike him. So the match is happening. If he wins, referee help. If he loses, referee was against. So, but this criticism is coming from opposite sides, you know. So you can
only gonna get worse, mate. That is only gonna get worse. Let's knock over some of these super chats. Karaoke Vic is coming and asks, can you ask the gang who they've got on April 20th, Devon or Levan? Yeah, we'll go round. Rolly Ray, who you got?
I thought about this long and hard, and I think that they'll let
your microphone is going on and off.
yeah. So
We didn't understand you.
pretty much like that. Yeah. I don't want to, you know, just keep on going. I don't want to.
No. Say it. Yeah.
Okay, one more time. Okay, one more time.
In case you missed it.
I think that if starts,
But look, he's intentional doing that. See, the guy is just kick him out from the chat, you know.
Yeah.
Put him on timeout.
You're gonna get put in timeout.
the balls are in Levan's court. I think Levan is the favorite.
How heavy? How heavy? Barely? Heavily?
Like right now, I was thinking 70, 65%, something like that. Now I'm thinking 60%.
60-40. Okay.
So here we go. Another super chat that's just come in after. In fact, no, we ain't finished yet. Luke.
Yeah, you didn't. Paul.
I've got Levan as a favorite, but not much. 55, 60%. I just my biggest fear of the match is that if it goes like last time, if Levan is just truly that much physically superior, that he could just break Devon.
Engin.
No, don't ask the organizer.
I like, if you asked me this, you know, a couple months ago, I would have made the gap a little bit wider in favor of Levan. And I find myself being sucked into the social media hype world and actually weighing these different variables. We're looking at these individual lifts and percentages and all this other nonsense. And it's brought the match closer to me. I think if Vegas were to make initial odds on this, it would be 60-40 Levan. And then I think a whole lot of money would come in on Devon, and those odds would change as the betting increased, because I think a lot of people are believing in Devon right now. I think, like Luke said, it's going to come down to structural integrity for Devon in order to get a stop. If Devon's body holds up, I think that he has at least a 50% chance of getting a stop, and I think he wins every round after that. I think it comes down to like that high-end sustainability against that power. I make Levan the favorite by about 5%, but I'm rooting for Devon, and I really think that there is a solid chance that he gets that stop.
It's on. Yeah, everybody heard my prediction the other week when we were on with Engin. Obviously, I would love to see this thing go into a rubber match kind of situation. I think you can't ignore the fact that Levan Saginashvili will start this as the favorite. He's a stronger guy. He's a very versatile guy. On paper, it's all there for him. But I do see the upset. I think that there'll be.
You are saying that Devon is going to win?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. If Devon wins, it could be like one of the greatest things most recently in arm wrestling, for arm wrestling, because like you said, it puts a rubber match out there, and
that's what
it would then put Levan in that position that he hasn't been in so many years, where you now have a loss to learn from and motivate you. I think if Devon will win, it'll push Levan's level even higher.
I agree.
The only thing that I disagree with Paul, that he said that it will be one of the biggest thing. No, it will be the biggest thing. If Devon beats Levan is the strongest arm wrestler I have ever seen.
Yep.
And I don't see anyone in the history beating him. If Devon comes, and this match is not only about Levan being the strongest ever, it is also, this match is between two of the most popular arm wrestlers in the history. and it like that is very popular match, highest level, and the underdog is beating the strongest ever. That will be probably the biggest, how to say in English, impact. It will be the biggest thing that ever happened. In
This
my
is the
opinion.
arm wrestling version of the Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah.
That we're just about to go into.
Muhammad Ali beating George Foreman.
This is the arm wrestling version of the Rumble in the Jungle, and it's going to come down to more than just. It's going to come down to more than arm wrestling for me. I think that the whole scenario, the pressure going into this, there are so many nuanced things here, variables. How good is Levan's wrist? Is it fully healed?
We will talk about that, but I will tell you something. Whenever you give that example, you gave the example so perfectly. George Foreman is probably the heaviest puncher in the history.
Yes.
Yep.
While Muhammad Ali is good with the endurance.
Yes. Good with the endurance.
Muhammad Ali had to stop the match, to win.
It was the mind games too. It is a very good comparison.
Yeah.
The mental approach, the approach that Levan or that Ali took in the buildup, the emotion that he was able to invoke from George, the anger, the frustration, and then to truly outbox him by taking a whole bunch of damage.
Yes.
And not breaking. It's a perfect analogy.
And I believe that is going to play itself out. Rumble in the Jungle in arm wrestling form. It's coming. I really do believe there's a lot of mind games going to go. There's questions within the arm wrestler themselves. If you watch When We Were Kings, if you watch that whole thing, if you look at that and you study the Rumble in the Jungle, there are so much nuance that echoes what we're about to see, in my opinion. The fact that Levan's coming back first outing after the wrist injury, the fact that he's pulling a guy who's going to target that wrist more than anyone would, who's coming in better shape as an evolved arm wrestler with education around him, the fact that Levan is so smart in himself, the fact that Levan's such a good guy, such an open guy. I think this has got so many connotations, nuance. Myself and Engin, we're going to do a second show on this, and we're going to do that. We'll do that on Engin's channel. But
about this
yes, we're going to
match,
finish the game, mate.
The thing is that after the match, I don't know how many years later, I read an interview with George Foreman. He said that he hit Ali as he has never hit anyone else, in his life. He said he was hitting him. He said another person would die probably. But he said that while he was hitting, and then he was like, "You are hitting like a sissy. Is that all you got,
George?"
Yeah. The guy, like, can you believe that you are getting punched by George Foreman, and you are still keeping your mind, active, and then still doing the mind games, Oh, I can't imagine that the same George Foreman 20 years later came and won the title while he was just a big fat guy,
He was 50 years old. It's ridiculous.
50. 45 years old. He won the title.
Yeah.
So that's another example, like past being better than today. Just imagine if 45 years old George Foreman won the title in mid-90s. Imagine him in 1975 coming. He would kill everyone in 90s. He would kill everyone.
Exactly this. There's a romance in it, guys. There's a romance in it. So we got Red One HD with a super chat. Thank you for your super chat, brother. He's put everyone wondering if Devon's bicep will hold. My question is, will Levan's wrist tendon hold? Rolly Ray, what do you think? Is that wrist going to be able to hold up?
I think both of them know where the other guy was injured, and but Devon will do every single thing he can do to exploit that. If there's a weakness, he will just look for it for as many rounds as is possible, because that's the opening, right? That's the opening.
Yes.
Yeah. I hope there's not. I hope we see a good match from both of those guys.
That's what I want more than anything else. Want it to finish. Want it to be the proper decisive match that we didn't get the last time. LB with a super chat. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate it. He's put, Engin, is Levan afraid to injure his wrist, and that's why he's not lifting 100 kilograms? Or do you believe he can lift that weight anymore? He can't. Sorry.
Okay. That is very quick, I need to say. 2 days before he did the wrist curl, he did very heavy hammer training. But other than that, he did chin-ups, 180 kilo. And, you know, when we do the chin-ups, we arm wrestlers, we don't do like this. We do like this. So there is a pressure on your static starting position so that he wouldn't go back. This guy did 5 sets of chin-ups with 180 kilo body weight. And after that, he did probably 5 sets of with the handle, the cable wrist curl. So he trained his wrists a lot 2 days earlier. And then 2 days later, he did the squat curl, dumbbell squat curl, and he did up to 110 kilo. So, you know, when you do the squat curl, I mean, there is still pressure here. You know, you need to hold it in a static way. So he did, his wrist was kind of tired, 110 kilo. And 2 days ago, he also trained. And then he started doing the wrist curl on his knee. 80 kilo was, in my opinion, on the podcast, Levan said that he didn't show Devon everything. He said this, but I'm not sure about that. I believe that 180 kilo was his max. He couldn't do more than that. But I'm talking about that moment. Just think about it. 2 days ago, wrist curl, everything, you know, in 2 days. So I talked with, who did I talk with? Yesterday, Ivan Matushenko was my guest, and he thinks that 10 to 15% it would affect. So my guess is he could do 90 kilo if he's fresh, you know, and everything. But also, he's very smart guy. He doesn't want to risk himself, as it's in the question, you know. He doesn't want, there is no sense, you know, if you're going to get injured, it is the competition time, not in the
devastating for everybody.
preparation.
You know, it would make a massive difference. There's also a line of thought where you don't have to train to that 1 rep max all the time, and you can still get enormous benefit. We will see what the day brings. Evan White, thank you for your super chat, mates. But what does on do for work or career? What does on?
Okay, I thought it was because of my English. Okay, so you're a British guy, right? If you didn't understand, so it's not about me. Yeah.
Sorry, mate. I don't understand the question. Is that supposed to be what does one do for work or career? Let me know. Just fire something in the chat there. Guys, we're only going to be on here for about another 5 minutes. We've already gone longer than we'd planned, actually. And then we're going to jump off, and we'll probably pick this up next week. Maybe the guys are available next week, and we can carry on. But we've been on here for a long period of time. So I know I'm going to just whip around because we've got a guest on and make sure that they tell you all what they've got going on this week and what to watch out for. Rolly, you've had a lot of people on the channel, mate. Got anybody exciting coming on of note this week that the guys can tune in and check out, mate?
It's always a surprise.
Lastminute.com.
Always.
Lastminute.com. But if you're not subscribed to Rolly Ray's channel, the voice of arm wrestling, you are missing out. Remember, the gospel of arm wrestling technique. You can see it all. If you're a new person coming into the sport, get over to the voice of arm wrestling. Check it out there. An enormous library of technical prowess there, all documented for you. Going to help you really improve your game. Massively improve your game. So the voice of arm wrestling, also global arm wrestling. Get over there, sub, and show this guy some love. Oh, Evan White's just come back in there. What does Engin do for a living or career?
It says airline.
Airline career, but yeah, I think he means a living.
Oh, he means a living. What do I do?
Yeah, professional arm wrestling.
Okay, I have been retired and getting paid by state since I was 40. Because being a world champion arm wrestler multiple times, so I'm getting salary until I die because of this.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, so that is, and I also did, you know, for many years I competed, and of course that we also get awards from the states. Also, I did trainer job for federation for some years. When I started to do this East versus West, I quit that one because I don't have time. I even don't have time even for training myself. So That is what I do basically. I'm retired, and I was doing trainer thing, you know, but now just doing East versus West, and that's all. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
I have a question for you guys before we finish. I watched round 2, Devon versus Levan. Yes, Levan's bicep goes, but just watch that. His wrist goes like this, Levan takes his wrist. He controls here. He's like totally, he loses wrist. Devon. We talk about, and I made a video about this. Like we talk about, it is about Levan's wrist versus Devon's outside. But just think about it, that Levan has incredible outside pressure. Devon, to use his own pronator, his wrist needs to handle some pressure. If it totally goes like this, I don't think he can really stop Levan.
I agree, mate. And we said on the last show that we did on your channel, we didn't see the outcome of the match last time, and people can misinterpret what I'm saying there and say, look, oh, that because Devon got injured. That also robbed us of the chance to see what Levan had. Could he make adjustments that were effective? Was it the injury that made the difference? Was it not? We won't know. We don't know. Hopefully this time around we get to see that. We get to see if there are adjustments and Levan is just too strong, that it will be seen without any contestation or questions left in anybody's mind. And I don't think that Devon would care. If that was the case,
what, his wrist?
Well, no, I don't think he would. If Devon LARRATT shows up and he gets run over, I think he'll be the first guy to take his hat off and go, wow, amazing. You know, I don't think he fears that at all. I think he's going there to try to win with a complete awareness that he could get whipped.
I don't think there has ever been anything more important than this during Devon's career. I believe this is the
Holy Grail.
Last point, Everest. You know, like if he does this, it is just like he will be, I mean, really fulfilling something that like he has never done. In fact, you know, this is why I said it's the biggest thing. You know,
I think there are two moments in his career that are of equal significance in that respect. I think the first one is at the time and the manner in which he beat John was unbelievably significant in his career, and I think this is of equal significance. Different day, different time, but right now you're always moving on and trying to grow and go to the next level. And what this does do is it solidifies the position as overall #1.
Somebody just asked me if I'm recognizable in my country. Not as recognizable as Devon. I can't walk on the street with him. We went to the airport, Sabiha Gökçen Airport, and we were waiting for Jody. Jody came later, a day later. We waited there for 10 minutes. I don't know with how many people he had photo, and they were Turkish people. Fantastic. And I was like, wow, how the hell is possible? You know, I kind of felt bad, but it was good for arm wrestling.
I think it's brilliant. I absolutely love it. That's brilliant. I mean, you know, it's funny. You get to a level, not something I really would want personally, if I'm honest. I think it's quite I mean, a very good friend of mine is Eddie Hall. I feel bad for Eddie in many ways. You can't, the things we used to do, you can't go out for a meal. You go to the Indian restaurant with Eddie, they have to shut the place because you literally can't have anything to eat. It's just like a hive of bees. It's crazy. It takes away a huge part of your life.
It's beautiful for the sport. But, you know, dealing with athletes and stuff, you know, seeing guys kind of go into this in the United States, you know, Micah Parsons specifically, you know, it does something to you, you know, your privacy's taken away for sure. So with
we'll never return. It's terrible in that way.
With fame comes a whole lot of responsibility and uncomfortability. So yeah, I'm with you. And like John's like the prime example of somebody who doesn't want that, which I like so much about him. He's quick to downplay everything because he doesn't want it. Don't want the attention.
I want to add something. For many years we were ignored. people, like, is there anyone here that was not asked? I don't know, maybe the newer ones, maybe were not asked, but in our time, I was asked many times, arm wrestling, is there a such sport?
Always.
Like, yeah, we had that, yeah.
Much less, again, much less now.
Oh,
It's
no, I
still-
know that's what I am saying, that in the past I had that. So now, like, I kind of feel like rebellion, you understand? Like I want to just, like, now our time, you understand? That is my motivation. Now, whenever I see that now we are gonna represent our sport and the whole world will know about us. This is my biggest motivation. I want all those fans who are watching these events to be proud to say, I'm arm wrestling fan and this is our sport. You understand? What?
I think we're closer than we know. I think we're closer than we know. I've heard some stuff and some things have happened here that I'll share with you offline. There's some interesting stuff that I think we're kind of close.
Yeah, you saw that, right? The was it Kyle Sonnen or
Mark Wahlberg? Mark Wahlberg commented on the RVJ match. Mark Wahlberg is like the super big, like, actor here, huge.
More
and more.
Feel the vibration.
In 3 years, we will not recognize. You'll see.
Don't tell me that you don't know Feel the Vibration. Rolly Ray has that on the iPod. Doesn't even have an iPod.
Wait, I know it.
I
know it.
Look at Engin. Look at Engin's face. He's like, he's an iPod, Neil. Talking about Willis.
Yeah, I last time I feel like this was whenever you were asking me, was it the Australian guy's name that you were saying that, like?
Oh, don't disrespect Danny Tesh.
No, not disrespect, but just whenever I don't know you said like, oh, you don't know Danny Tesh is the GOAT, you know, he's the greatest ever. And in the same program there was Devon and John. I was like, what the hell Neil is talking about? Because I didn't really follow at that time. And then I was like, who is he? You know, and now I'm also lost. You know, what are you guys talking about?
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch is what we're talking about, son.
Marky Mark, the Wahlberg family.
Vibration. Quality.
Yeah, they're huge actors. Like, I mean, he's played in some amazing movies. He played Mickey Ward.
I can't wait for me to send this. I'm going to send Feel the Vibration in a minute, mate, when he's there in the old friggin'.
My favorite movie is The Other Guys.
Tell you what, I'll send you Engin. Watch the video, and you'll be like, this guy. Yeah, you'll know it.
Okay.
You're straight, telling you. Feel the Vibration. Funky Bunch is coming. Incoming. As soon as we finish this, Luke's thinking, don't send him that, Neil. I'm gonna send him it, Luke.
Well, the promotion that we've been working with locally, New Way Combat, which is like a grappling promotion that has events around the country every weekend.
Engin's looking up Funky Bunch. He's looking him up. He's looking it up now.
I'm looking the chat.
Okay, I'll let you off. I thought you were looking at Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. I was going to say it's going to go off in a minute.
Neil, the UFC just partnered up with this New Way Combat. It's promoting arm wrestling. Yeah, it hasn't been leaked yet, but there's going to be an opportunity to go to UFC Fight Week and put on like a small exhibition of some sorts, and then also like have a table. I'll probably go with a table and just arm wrestle like whoever wants to for a couple days, and we'll be able to be there for that event.
What date is it, mate? What date is that?
Dude, my calendar's so crazy I can't tell you. I'll text it to you after I go look at it. But it's in the summer. In the summer.
Paul, are you gonna attend nationals in June?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I shall, and I encourage everyone to do so.
Yes. So, guys, if you're not subscribed to Lethal Arms, get over there. Get sub to Lethal Arms Network. Get over there and support the White Hawk, one of the Fix originals. Give him some love.
My phone is actively dying, guys. It's actively dying. It's going to cut out here shortly. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, mate, for tuning in. Thanks to Luke for coming on. Luke, great to see you on the show, mate. If you're not subscribed to Engin Terzi's channel, the Enigma of Raids, get over there. Arm Wrestling Engin is where you need to be. And also East versus West Arm Wrestling. The countdown has begun, guys. We're heading towards the biggest match of the year and probably the biggest match until Engin does the next biggest match. It's on. It's coming, only a few weeks away. Guys, while you're here, if this is your first time on Supernatural Strength channel, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel, guys. We will be here with a fix next week. Sunday night, same times. That's actually 5:30 in Pennsylvania. I told Paul wrong earlier on today. It's 9:30 GMT, 10:30 Central European time. Guys, thank you very much. All the best to you and your families. Stay safe. Stay strong. Come on, Ray.
Take care, guys. Take
and
care.
love arm wrestling, guys.
There we go. Biggity bong, mother fluffers. See you
Bye,
next
guys.
week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.